My left hand is currently holding a cup of coffee, but my right hand is still resting on the keyboard, typing this very sentence. I know this is impossible. I know it defies every law of physics and biology that I have ever understood. I have been staring at my right hand for the last 45 minutes. It is not moving, it is not twitching, it is not dead because it is warm, and the nails are pink and the skin is smooth. But it is not mine, or rather, it is mine, but it is not obeying me. I send the command from my brain to lift the fingers, to curl them, to make a fist. Nothing happens. The muscles remain slack, the tendons still. It is a statue carved from flesh. Meanwhile, my left hand is moving independently. It is lifting the mug to my lips, taking a sip, setting it down. I did not tell it to do that. I am watching it happen in real time, my eyes fixed on the limb that has betrayed me, and I am helpless to stop it. The coffee is black, bitter, and hot. I can feel the heat radiating from the ceramic against my palm, but I cannot feel the weight of the mug. My left hand grips it with a firmness that feels aggressive, almost violent. I try to clamp my left hand shut, to crush the cup, to spill the scalding liquid on the desk and break the spell. My mind screams the command: squeeze, crush, drop. The muscles in my forearm tense, but they do not contract. The hand remains open, steady, and calm. It is a puppeteer's nightmare, but the puppet is my own body, and the strings are pulled by an invisible, indifferent force. I stand up. The chair scrapes against the hardwood floor, a harsh, grating sound that echoes in the quiet apartment. My legs move under my command. I walk toward the kitchen, intending to find a knife, a hammer, anything that might sever the connection or at least provide a means of defense. My right hand swings naturally at my side, limp and useless, dragging slightly with each step. It looks like a dead weight, a burden I have to carry. My left hand stays by my side, relaxed, as if nothing is wrong, as if I'm not watching my own body commit acts of autonomy without my consent. The kitchen is bright, lit by the overhead fluorescent lights that buzz with a low, irritating hum. I look at the sink. It is clean, dry, and empty. I reach for the faucet with my left hand. I do not want to turn it on. I want to leave. But the hand turns the handle. Cold water rushes out. I watch, horrified, as the hand reaches into the stream, cupping the water, bringing it to my mouth. I drink. The water is cold and tastes of metal. I did not drink it. I am thirsty, yes, but I did not choose to drink. The action feels natural, fluid, and utterly alien. I try to pull my hand away from the faucet. I try to close my eyes and wake up. I try to scream. No sound comes out. My throat is tight, constricted by fear, but my vocal cords remain silent. The left hand dries itself on a towel I did not place within reach. It folds the towel neatly, then places it on the counter. The precision is terrifying. There is no hesitation, no error. It is as if the hand has been practicing this motion for years, while I have been locked out of the cockpit of my own existence. I return to the living room. The apartment feels smaller now, the walls closing in. The shadows in the corners seem deeper, more pronounced. I sit back down at the desk. My right hand drags onto the keyboard, leaving a faint, damp print on the wood. I stare at it. I try to will it to move. I focus all my energy, all my willpower on a single finger. Just one lift the index finger, nothing. The limb remains inert, a piece of meat attached to my shoulder by bone and sinew. It is a corpse on my body. My left hand reaches for the mouse. It clicks. The screen wakes up. I did not tell it to wake the computer. The cursor moves across the screen, guided by the left hand. It opens a blank document. I watch, paralyzed by dread as the hand begins to type. The rhythm is steady, mechanical. Click, click, click. The letters appear on the screen. They are not words. They are shapes. Jagged, angular lines that look like symbols I have never seen before. They are not English. They are not any language I know. They look like cracks in the air, like fractures in reality itself. I try to stand up again. I try to run. My legs refuse to move. They are locked in place, heavy as lead. I am trapped in the chair, a prisoner in my own skin. The left hand continues to type. The symbols grow more complex, more dense. The paper fills with them. The ink is dark, thick, and seems to absorb the light around it. I lean forward, my heart pounding against my ribs like a trapped bird. I want to look away, but I cannot. I am compelled to watch. The hand is faster now. The typing is a blur. The symbols are piling up, covering the page, spilling over the edges. I notice something on the desk. A small plastic figurine of a dog I bought at a gas station last week. It is sitting near the edge. My left hand reaches out and picks it up. I hold my breath. The hand turns the figurine over in its fingers. It examines it, turning it slowly, methodically. Then, with a sudden, sharp motion, the hand snaps the plastic dog in half. The sound is loud, like a gunshot in the quiet room. The two halves fall to the desk. The hand does not react. It does not care. It reaches for the keyboard again. The symbols on the screen are changing. They are no longer just lines. They are forming patterns. Circles within squares. Spirals that seem to rotate when I look at them directly. My head begins to ache. A sharp, stabbing pain behind my eyes. I try to rub them, but my right hand is still dead. I try to use my left hand, but it is busy typing. The pain intensifies. It feels like something is pushing against the inside of my skull. I gasp, but no air comes in. My lungs are stiff, uncooperative. The left hand stops typing. It hovers over the keys for a moment. Then it moves to the side of the desk. It picks up a pen, a simple blue ballpoint pen. The hand twists the pen, examining the cap. Then it removes the cap. The tip is sharp, black, and gleaming. I watch my mind racing, trying to find a way out, a solution, a prayer. But there is nothing. I am alone in my head, watching my body perform a ritual I do not understand. The hand brings the pen toward my face. I try to turn my head away. I try to close my eyes. I cannot. My neck is rigid, locked in place. The tip of the pen touches my forehead. It is cold. It pierces the skin. A single drop of blood forms. The hand does not press harder. It simply rests there, the tip embedded in my flesh. I wait for pain. I wait for horror. But there's only a dull pressure and the steady, rhythmic beating of my heart. The hand lifts the pen. It moves to my left eye. I squeeze my eyes shut. The tip presses against the eyelid. I feel the fabric of the lid give way. The cold metal touches my eyeball. I scream internally, a silent, shrieking void of terror. The hand does not push. It does not stab. It simply holds the pen there, hovering, waiting. Then the hand moves away. It returns to the keyboard. The typing resumes. But now the symbols are different. They are no longer random. They are forming words. I lean forward, my vision blurring from the pain in my eye. I read the screen. It is not you. The words appear, letter by letter, in the same jagged script. It is me. I stare at the screen. I stare at my left hand. It is still moving, still typing. But the rhythm has changed. It is slower now. Deliberate. The hand pauses. It lifts up, palm open, facing me. I look at it. The fingers are straight, the nails clean. It looks like a hand that belongs to a stranger, a hand that is waiting for instructions. I feel a shift in my mind, a coldness spreading from my chest to my limbs. The fear does not leave. It deepens, turning into a hollow, empty dread. I realize then that I am not the one watching. I am the one being watched. The left hand is not acting alone. It is acting for someone else. Someone who has been waiting inside me, in the spaces between my thoughts, in the silence of my mind. The hand turns toward the camera on my laptop. It waves. A slow, deliberate wave. The fingers curl, then extend, then curl again. It is a greeting, a welcome. I try to look away from the screen. I try to close my eyes. I cannot. My eyelids are heavy, weighted down by an invisible force. The hand moves closer to the lens. The fingers spread wide, filling the frame. The skin looks pale, almost translucent. The veins are dark, prominent, like roots spreading through soil. The typing stops. The hand rests on the desk. The fingers tap once, twice, 3 times. A rhythm, a code. Then, the hand moves to the space bar. It presses it. The screen goes black. In the darkness of the monitor, I see my reflection. But it is not my face. It is the face of the hand. The features are blurred, indistinct, but the eyes are clear. They are watching me. They are smiling. I try to scream. I try to move, but I am frozen. The connection is complete. The barrier is gone. I am no longer the driver. I am the passenger. And the driver is just getting started. The left hand reaches for the mouse again. It clicks. The screen lights up. The cursor moves. It opens a new document. It begins to type. My left hand is currently floating 3 inches above the kitchen counter, and it refuses to come down. I am staring at my own fingers, which are curled in a relaxed, natural position, hovering over the cold granite surface. The skin is pale, the veins blue and visible beneath the surface, but there is no connection to the rest of my arm. I can see the wrist, the forearm, the elbow, all grounded and heavy, anchored to my body by the weight of my own flesh. But then, just past the joint, the continuity breaks. There is a gap, a void of empty air, and then my hand exists in isolation. It does not shake. It does not tremble. It simply hangs there, defying gravity, defying anatomy, defying every law of physics I have ever understood. I try to move it. I think about lifting it higher, about bringing it down to touch the wood. Nothing happens. The muscles in my forearm tense, straining against the invisible tether that should be pulling the limb along. But the hand remains suspended in its impossible stasis. I step back, my heart hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. The silence in the kitchen is absolute. The refrigerator hums its low, consistent note, a mundane anchor in a world that has suddenly tilted on its axis. I reach out with my right hand to grab the floating left one, to force it back into alignment, to prove to myself that this is a hallucination or a stroke or some neurological misfire. My right fingers brush against the back of my left hand. It is warm. It is solid. It feels exactly like my hand. But when I try to pull it down, it resists with a strange magnetic stiffness, as if the air around it has thickened into glass. I let go, stumbling backward until my hips hit the edge of the island. I need to call for help. I need to explain this to someone who understands how the world works. I fumble for my phone in my pocket with my right hand. My left hand is still there, hovering, motionless. It has not moved a millimeter since I first noticed it. The absurdity of the situation begins to curdle into genuine panic. I dial 911, holding the phone to my ear with my shoulder, my right hand gripping the device tightly. The line rings, and rings, and rings. No one answers. The automated voice does not come. There is only silence from the receiver, a dead, hollow void that mirrors the gap between my arm and my hand. I lower the phone. The screen is black. I press the power button. Nothing. The phone is dead, drained of all power, though it was fully charged an hour ago. I look back at my left hand. It is beginning to drift. Not down, but sideways. It moves slowly, gliding across the granite countertop as if pushed by an invisible current. I watch it slide toward the edge of the counter, toward the knife block. I want to stop it, but I cannot reach it with my right hand without leaning over, and I am terrified of what might happen if I touch it again. The hand hovers over the wooden block containing the sharp chef's knives. It is not touching them, but it is close enough that I can see the reflection of the steel blades in the shiny metal of my own fingernails. The dread in my stomach tightens into a cold knot. I realize that if the hand falls, or if I try to catch it, the consequences will be immediate and violent. I back away from the counter, moving toward the hallway. The hand follows. It does not detach or fly away. It simply continues its slow lateral drift, maintaining its position relative to my body's movement. It is tethered to me by some unseen force, moving in perfect synchronization with my steps. I walk faster. The hand glides faster. I stop. The hand stops. I am trapped in a loop of my own making, unable to escape the impossible geometry of my own body. I am in the hallway now, the walls closing in. The light from the kitchen spills out, illuminating the floating limb. It looks alien now, a foreign object attached to me by nothing but my will. I decide to try to break the connection. If I can sever the limb, perhaps the rest of me will be free. The thought is horrifying, but the fear of the unknown is worse. I grab a heavy ceramic vase from a shelf in the hallway with my right hand. I swing it toward my left wrist, aiming to smash the bone, to break the continuity. As the vase swings, my left hand jerks. It moves with a sudden, violent speed, slapping against the vase just before it can hit my wrist. The impact is loud, a sharp crack that echoes in the small space. The vase shatters. Shards of ceramic fly everywhere, cutting my right hand. I cry out, dropping the remaining pieces. My left hand is now pressed against the wall, flat and still. I look at the cuts on my right palm. Blood wells up, bright red and warm. I stare at it, breathless. The pain is sharp and real. I look back at my left hand. It is still against the wall. Then, slowly, it begins to peel away from the surface. It turns palm facing me. The fingers curl inward, one by one, forming a fist. The knuckles turn white. The tension in the arm is visible, the muscles bunching up under the skin. It is not a relaxed hand anymore. It is a weapon. I run. I sprint down the hallway toward the front door. My left hand swings wildly at my side, a pendulum of flesh and bone. It hits the door frame as I reach for the knob. The impact jars my shoulder, sending a shockwave of pain up my arm. I fumble with the lock, my right hand trembling. The deadbolt slides back with a heavy clunk. I pull the door open and step out onto the porch. The air is cool, the night quiet. I look down at my left hand. It is still attached to my body, still floating, still moving in sync with my frantic heartbeat. I turn around to lock the door behind me. As I do, I see my reflection in the glass pane of the door. In the reflection, my left hand is not floating. It is down by my side, hanging naturally. But in reality, it is still 3 inches above my hip. I watch, horrified, as the reflection raises its hand and waves. I do not wave. My right hand is on the door handle. My left hand is still in the air. The reflection smiles. It is a wide, stretching smile that shows too many teeth. I try to scream, but no sound comes out. The reflection steps forward, pressing its hand against the inside of the glass. My left hand, in reality, presses against the outside. The glass does not break. The 2 hands meet, separated only by the thin pane. I pull back, stumbling away from the door. The reflection does not follow. It stays there, watching me, its hand still pressed against the glass. I look down at my left hand. It is no longer floating. It has descended slowly, silently, until it rests gently on my right shoulder. It is warm. It is heavy. It feels like it is squeezing. I try to shake it off, but it holds fast. The grip tightens. I feel the bones in my shoulder creak under the pressure. I try to lift my arm, but I cannot. The hand is pulling me down, anchoring me to the spot. I am frozen, unable to move, unable to speak. The reflection in the glass is still smiling. It is no longer waving. It is waiting. I realize with a sinking dread that the hand is not just holding me. It is pulling me toward the door, toward the glass, toward the other side. I cannot look away. I cannot close my eyes. I can only watch as the reflection reaches out and opens the door from the inside. My shadow detaches itself from my heels and walks out the front door. I stand frozen in the hallway, my hand still gripping the brass doorknob. The cold metal bites into my palm, grounding me in the physical world, but my eyes are locked on the floor. The darkness that should be stretching behind my legs has slid away. It pools on the welcome mat for a second, then elongates, standing upright with the silhouette of my own body. It turns its head toward me, a featureless void where my face should be, and steps out into the night. I do not scream. I do not move. I simply watch the impossible happen with the detached curiosity of someone watching a glitch in a video file. I wait for the panic to set in, but it doesn't come immediately. Instead, I feel a strange hollow lightness in my chest, as if a vital organ has been surgically removed. I step forward, my bare feet pressing into the cool hardwood. The shadow is gone. The door is closed. I try to open it, but the lock is engaged. though I know I didn't turn it. I press my ear against the wood. Silence. Not the quiet of an empty house, but the heavy, pressurized silence of a vacuum. I back away, my heart beginning to hammer against my ribs, a frantic bird trapped in a cage. I walk to the kitchen to fill a glass of water, needing the routine, the normalcy of thirst and hydration. My reflection in the microwave door is wrong. It is static, frozen in the moment I last looked at it, but my body is moving. I raise my hand to touch the glass, and the reflection does not. I blink, rubbing my eyes, assuming fatigue or a migraine aura. When I look again, the reflection is smiling. It is a wide, unnatural grin that stretches the skin too tight, exposing too many teeth. I drop the glass. It shatters, shards skittering across the tile like ice. I do not clean it up. I cannot look away from the microwave. The air in the kitchen grows thick and stale, smelling faintly of ozone and old dust. I realize that the light from the refrigerator is the only source of illumination. The rest of the house is swallowed by a darkness that feels solid, like water filling a room. I try to move toward the living room, to find my phone, to call for help, but my feet feel heavy, anchored to the floor. I look down. My shadow is returning, but it is not attached to my feet. It is crawling up my legs, cold and wet, like a spider made of tar. I fight it, kicking my legs, trying to shake the weight off. The shadow wraps around my ankles, pulling me down. I fall to my knees, the tile hard against my skin. The darkness on my legs moves higher, past my knees, up my thighs. It does not hurt, but it numbs me. I feel my sensation fading, replaced by a cold, dead stillness. I try to crawl toward the door, dragging my numb body across the floor. The shadow follows, pulling ahead of me, guiding me. I reach the hallway. The front door is unlocked now. I push it open, desperate for the night air, for the stars, for anything real. But outside there is no street. There is no moon. There is only a vast gray emptiness, like a blank canvas. The shadow pulls me forward, not into the house, but toward the threshold. I resist, digging my fingernails into the doorframe. My nails break. Blood wells up, bright and red, but it does not drip. It hangs in the air, suspended, defying gravity. The shadow reaches my waist. I can feel it seeping into my clothes, into my skin. I realize then that it is not trying to kill me. It is trying to replace me. I look at my hands. They are becoming translucent, fading into the gray mist outside. I scream, but no sound comes out. My voice is gone, absorbed by the silence. The shadow wraps around my torso, lifting me up. I am weightless now, floating toward the void. I try to remember my name, my address, my life, but the memories are slipping away like sand through fingers. The last thing I see is my own body, standing in the kitchen, picking up a shard of glass. It looks at me with my eyes, but the expression is mine. It is calm. It is satisfied. It turns and walks away, leaving me here, in the nothingness, watching through its eyes as it lives my life. I am the shadow now. I am the thing that waits in the corners. I am the cold spot in the room, and I am so very hungry.